And welcome in another episode of Quran Wow Words of Wisdom. And today we're looking at chapter number 51, which is Surah Ad-Dariyat, the winds that scatter. It's a very thought-provoking sequence of verses from verses 47 to 51, which tell us about the existence or the reality of the hereafter. That means that there is an absolute guarantee that the next world, the afterlife, exists. Because some people have this wrong notion that how can we raised up to life after we are dead? So this verse re-emphasizes again this concept that please, human beings, please remember that this life on earth is only a short temporary period, less than 100 years. But after you are dead, even though your bones look decomposed, you could be cremated, you could be scattered into ashes into furthest northern winds, or you could be bomb blasted into outer space. There is an absolute guarantee. Every atom of yours will be brought together. You will be brought back to life, and you will stand in front of a creator who will then decide whether you're going to spend the rest of your life in bliss, in happiness, in heaven, or you're going to spend the rest of your life in misery, in hell. So let's look very briefly at this verse. So I'll just read through it, and then we'll go through the tafsir. I don't know if you can see. I'll just try and position this properly. Right. Right. We have built the heaven with our own might, and we possess the power for it. We have spread out the earth, and behold, how excellent spreaders we are. And we have created everything in pairs. Maybe that you learn a lesson from it. So flee unto Allah. I am an open warner from Him to you, and do not set up another God with God. I am an open warner from Him unto you. Now, this is a very extensive, lot of tafsir in this and understanding of this. So I've made some notes and I've done some research from some journal articles in botany because this concept of pairs. So please bear with me as I'll just go through my notes, and let's just go through this absolutely amazing sequence of verses which gives an absolute guarantee. So please remember, if you're not a Muslim and if you're joining me in this, please remember that the Quran makes it absolutely certain that there's a guarantee that there is a life after that. Please remember that our world on this life is only temporary, right? So let's look at some of the evidence for this, that why does the Quran say that the hereafter is an absolute guarantee, right? After presenting historical arguments for the hereafter, now arguments from the universe are being presented in proof for the reality of the hereafter and for the existence of the hereafter. The word must may mean the one who possesses power and means, and also the one who can extend and expand something. The Creator Supreme is expanding the universe. That is why astronomers are baffled. As soon as they find that there are 500 billion galaxies, all of a sudden there's now 600. Now there's 800. So the further we go into the universe, we find that the universe is expanding all the time. And the Quran is making it absolutely clear that the universe is expanding. The universe is not finished. God in His mercy is expanding it and adding to His creation all the time. And in fact, in the universe, there are nurseries, baby nurseries who are shooting out stars all the time, continuously. And these stars, these baby nursery stars, then form clusters of galaxies. So the universe is continuously changing and evolving and expanding. We have built this heaven by our own might and not with somebody else's help. The Creator Supreme did not need anybody's help to build this amazing universe. And the erection of the universe was in no way beyond us. The structure of the universe, the building up of the universe was not beyond the capacity of the Creator Supreme. So think, how can you ever conceive that we shall not be able to recreate it? So God in His mercy said, we have created the first time around. Absolute guarantee we'll create it again. We have created you the first time around. Absolute guarantee we'll create you again for a second time, as much time as we want to, right? This huge universe that we have created is not a finished piece of art, and we are expanding it continuously. The new and ever new manifestations of this creation are appearing at every moment. That's why we find new species of plants, new species of animals, new species of marine life, which is absolutely amazing all the time. So how can you then think that such a marvelous creator would not be able to repeat His creation? And then let's look at the concept where it says, we have spread out the earth and we are excellent spreaders. Let's see what does that mean. And we can get a commentary of that if we cross-reference that to Surah Yasin, and let's see what that says. These brief sentences, the vegetable and plant life of the earth. In these brief sentences, the vegetable and plant life of the earth has been presented as an argument. Man is eating the products of the earth day and night, and he takes it for granted. He regards this as something very ordinary, but it is not ordinary, it is extraordinary. But if he considers it seriously, he will see that the growth of rich crops and lush green gardens from the dry earth Sorry, I just got distracted there a bit. From the dry earth and flowing in it of the springs and rivers is not a simple thing which might be happening of itself, but there is a great wisdom and power behind all of this. Consider the reality of the earth. The substances of which it is composed do not possess any power of their own or for growth. All these substances, individually as well as after every sort of combination, remain inorganic and thus do not possess any signs of life. So the question is, how did these inorganic things possible for plant life to emerge from an earth that is dead? If one looks into it, one will see that there are some important factors, and we look at 3 or 4 factors. First, in particular regions of the earth on its outer surface, a layer was arranged of many such substances which could serve as food for the vegetation. Second, we need a system of irrigation was arranged in the earth in different ways so that the food elements could get dissolved and be absorbed, and water can be absorbed by the roots. Third, the atmosphere is arranged around the earth which protects it against the calamities of the sky, and the atmosphere also becomes a means of rainfall, and rain is the foundation, which is the key to life on earth. And fourth, a relationship was established between the sun and the earth so as to provide proper temperature and suitable seasons for the vegetation. So all of this, there is a perfect system behind it. It is not haphazard. It did not just arise by itself. With the provision of these main factors, the coming to life of the vegetation becomes possible. After arranging the suitable conditions, the seed of each species of vegetation was so constituted that as soon as it received favorable soil, favorable water, favorable air, and the season, vegetable life should start stirring within it. Anyone who ponders over this wonderful arrangement, if he is not stubborn and prejudiced, will himself or herself testify that all this could not have come about by itself. There is certainly a wise plan underlying it, according to which harmonies and relationships of the soil, the water, the air, and the season with respect to the vegetation, and the harmonic relationship of the vegetation with respect to the needs and requirements of animals and human beings have been determined, keeping in view the finest absolute detail with perfection. No sensible person can imagine that these universal, all-embracing relationships could be a mere accident. The same subtle arrangement points to the fact that this cannot be the work of many gods. This is and can only be the work of one God, who is the creator and Lord of the earth, water, air, sun, vegetation, animals, and mankind. After giving these arguments for Tawheed, Tawheed means that there is only one God. The God Almighty, the Quran says, do they not then give thanks? Are they not grateful for this amazing world that we have been given by the Creator Supreme, who has provided all of this earth, the vegetation, the animal life, the plant life, the atmosphere, our sensory organs? Why do we not give thanks? Are we so ungrateful? That is, are these people so thankless and ungrateful that they do not render thanks to that God who has provided all of this for their survival? Right? Are they so wretched that instead of bowing before Him and they bow before false gods who have not even created a single blade of grass? Now let's look at this beautiful concept of everything has been created in pairs. And the verse says, and we have created everything in pairs. Maybe that you learn a lesson from it. So flee unto Allah. I am an open warner from Him unto you. That is, everything in the world has been created on the principle of pairs. The whole system of the universe is function on the principle that certain things are complementary and matching to certain others, and their combinations bring countless new forms and combinations. Nothing is so unique that it does not have a match. Everything has an opposite in the universe. There's positive and negative, day and night, night and day, positive ions, negative ions. We have sodium and chloride, positive and negative, H2O, right? Light and dark, hot and cold. Even plants and vegetation have male and female. You have high and low, short and tall, thin and fat, inside and outside. So similarly, it's logical that we have this world and we have the next world. You see how beautiful the Quran says. So because everything has the opposite, it means we have this world, we have the next world. We have the material world, we have the spiritual world. We have the physical world, we have the transcendental world. We have the body, we have the soul. Absolutely beautiful, common sense, but it makes so much sense, right? Now, it was for many years, it was for thousands of years, no one knew that plants had male and female anatomical parts. They just thought, no, they just reproduce by themselves. So the vast majority, but it has now been determined with absolute certainty, and only very recently, yet the Quran makes it clear 1,400 years ago that even plants are made up of male and female. No one knew this, but the Quran told us 1400 years ago, and it was only about 200 years ago, and I'll relate to the journal article because I went to the journal article on botany, which confirmed the history of when it was discovered that even plants are made up of male and female. So it has been confirmed that the vast majority of plants are both male and female. The breeding system, or how the sperm from one plant fertilizes the ovum of another, depends on the reproductive morphology and is the single most important determinant of genetic structure of plant populations. And the person who discovered this is Christian Conrad Sprengel in 1793. He studied the reproduction of flowering plants, and for the first time, it is understood that the pollination process involved both biotic and abiotic interactions. And if you look at the journal, which is known as the Journal of Nature, in volume 131, page number 132, the discovery of sex in plants is usually credited to Camillerius in 1694 and Curator in 1761. And there's a fabulous book written about this whole history of how it was discovered that there is sexual reproduction in plants. Yeah, absolutely amazing. It took careful observations and insights of German botanist Wilhelm Hofmeister, published in 1851, to resolve the controversy by showing that sexual reproduction is a universal feature of plant life cycles. The idea of male and female in plants is a bit mysterious to many people, and there are several variations of the theme. In plants, as with most animals, the male parts are associated with the production of sperms, so there are sperms in plants, and the female part are associated with eggs. Thus, in angiosperms, which are the flowering plants, and gymnosperms, which are the naked seeds, the male structures produce pollen, right, which contain the sperm. And the female structures have one or more ovaries, which contain the eggs known as ovules. Absolutely amazing. Just a recent discovery, but yet the Quran makes mention of it 1400 years ago, subhanAllah. All right. Then we look at the erection of the whole universe on the principle of the pairs and the existence of all things in the world in couples is a reality. So everything is in pairs. So this is a reality that testifies expressly to the reality and necessity of the hereafter. The fact that this world exists means that there is a hereafter, common sense. If you consider it deeply, you will yourself come to the conclusion that when everything in the world has a partner and nothing becomes productive without a partner, that means this world has got a partner, which is the hereafter. Basic. To understand what follows, one should also understand that the discussion centers around the hereafter, but this very discussion and argument afford a proof of the oneness of God, that there is only one God, one Creator. Just as the argument of the rain, the structure of the earth, the creation of the heavens, man's own existence, the wonderful working of the law of the pairs in the universe, testify to the reality and to the necessity of the hereafter, so they are also testifying that neither is this a godless nor universe, nor does it have many gods, but an one, all-wise and all-powerful God alone is its creator, its master, and its controller. That is why the following verses, the invitation to the oneness of God is being presented on the basis of these very arguments. Furthermore, the inevitable results of believing in the hereafter is that man should give up his attitude of rebellion against God. Please stop denying the existence of God. God absolutely exists, and it's a guarantee that there is a day of judgment. It's a guarantee you will be brought back to life. It's a guarantee you will be standing in front of your Creator. Man remains turned away from God as long as he remains involved in the false belief that he is not accountable for anyone. So many politicians believe they are not accountable to anyone. Many leaders believe they are not accountable to anyone. And as long as they have this false notion, they are leading a life of heedlessness until it is too late. They will have a life of regret in the grave and a life of regret when they stand up in front of the Creator, where they will be given account of everything that they did. That is also known as a day of shame and a day of regret. Whenever this misunderstanding is removed, man immediately comes to the realization that he was committing a serious error by regarding himself as irresponsible or unaccountable, and this realization then compels him to return to God. That is why immediately after concluding the arguments for the hereafter, it has then been said, flee unto God, flee unto Allah, as the verse says, and do not set up another God with God. I am an open warner from him unto you. So please, this is an appeal to everyone. Remember that God exists, and especially the politicians or people in big business or the arrogant people, whether the CEO of Fortune 500 companies, whether the kings or the senior senators and members of parliament who walk around arrogantly, who think they can commit crimes, or serial rapists, murderers, or members in parliament who think they can scam the people and make the people suffer while they are enriching themselves, and they feel that they are untouchable and they are honorable so and so. They must please remember that there is a day of accountability. All the hidden secrets, all the crimes will be brought in front of them on a huge screen from sky to heavens, and every person will see the crimes that they committed, and that will be the day of shame and humiliation for these people. They will fall on their knees and beg to God to be sent back to earth to say, we made a mistake, now we will be good people. God will say, you had your chance. Warners came to you that this is a day of shame, this is a day of justice, because every victim needs their day in court. And if the court in the world cannot give them the day of justice, they will most certainly get the day of justice on the day of judgment, about which there is absolutely no doubt whatsoever. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.